Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm running through my Premier League team of the season. I've seen some crazy shouts, especially from the lads at Monday Night Football, putting Haaland left wing, trying to fit certain weird players in. This 11, I can assure you, is bang on. Let me know in the comments down below your team of the season. There's some mad shouts in there, with Brighton doing so well. You obviously think of even Aston Villa punching above their weight, Newcastle, including, of course, Arsenal and City players. Very keen to see what you think in the comments down below. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Tons of content coming out throughout the next couple of weeks. In goal, for me, obviously Pope gets a massive shout. He's a fantastic keeper. I think that sending off before the League Cup final has dampened his season. I have to put Alisson in. I think Alisson's the best keeper in the league, and sometimes you just don't have to overthink it. I think Ederson's had a good season. Ramsdale has had an overrated season for me. I know David De Gea is probably leading the clean sheet sort of charts. Who's the best keeper in the league? It's Alisson. So we can start off very, very easy. He's had a fantastic season. Going forward, there's been a few issues for Liverpool. Even defensively, there's been big holes, but not because of Alisson. It's been because of defensive frailties from Van Dijk, from Trent. It's not been him. He's pulled off some world-class saves this season. He's the best keeper in the world, in my opinion. At right back, this is very easy as well. Of course, there'll be a late shout for someone like Kyle Walker. There might be a shout for John Stones. At right back, neither have kind of played enough in that position to warrant that. For me, it's Kieran Trippier. He's world-class on his day. He's top 5 right backs in world football. His delivery's on point. His actual passing range is absolutely fantastic. The way he nullifies pressure by just being smart on the ball, being very savvy on the ball. He's come on leaps and bounds since the last time he was in the Premier League was Spurs, and obviously the time at Atletico Madrid, he blossomed into a world-class defender off the ball. He could guide Newcastle towards their first trophy in a good 50, 60 years. He's world-class. It's easy, lads. It's easy. Kieran Trippier at right back. The centre-back partnership is also very, very easy in my opinion. Now, I know there'll be some big shouts for Sven Botman, Lisandro Martinez, of course. Bang average, by the way, Martinez. And Botman's had a decent season. So has Shaw, of course. Think about Saliba, but he's been injured a large part of the season. For me, John Stones is the best centre-back City have had this season consistently. The level of Ruben Diaz, we'll talk about that in a minute, is higher as a pure centre-back. But what as a total footballer John Stones provides is world-class. I don't know any English centre-back who's ever done what he can do on the ball. Maybe Rio Ferdinand could have done it if he played in this era, but we don't know. And all we can see is John Stones parading into midfield against Real Madrid and knocking the ball around. He has been symptomatic of us winning the Premier League. His form and fitness after the start of the season, where he's a little bit in and out of fitness, came back and he's been playing so much football, rested at the right opportunities by Pep, treated carefully, a bit like Kevin De Bruyne, and he's been instrumental. The amount of clean sheets we've kept this season, the amount of chances we stop opposition sides getting, it's down to John Stones and Ruben Diaz putting their bodies on the line. Big shouts out to Manuel Kanji as well, of course. But John Stones goes in as the first right-sided centre-back. Alongside him, Ruben Diaz is the best centre-back in world football. It's as simple as that. On the ball, he's calm, collected, maybe not as progressive as John Stones, but off the ball, what we saw Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, putting his body on the line, putting an amazing block at the Bernabeu to stop Benzema scoring in the tie. He put an amazing block against Bayern Munich. Unbelievable. He's the best centre-back in world football. Since coming into the league, he's won 3 leagues in a row. He's got us to a Champions League final, a Champions League semi-final, and then another Champions League final in 3 years at Man City. This guy's elite. He's world-class. He's the best of his kind going. He's worth 200 mil as a centre-back. He's 200 mil. Easy. He reminds me a lot of Thiago Silva. He's a bit like a Carvalho, a young Carvalho as well, in my opinion. This guy could end up being one of the best centre-backs to ever play in the league if he stays here for the rest of his career, which he could do. And he obviously goes into Premier League team of the season for me. Left back's a tough one. Nathan Ake does deserve a shout, absolutely. Obviously, Brighton's Estupiñán's come in and looked double the player of Cucurella, who cost 65 million quid. So what does that make him? 120 million quid. He's been fantastic, of course. Zinchenko, a big shout out to him. He was everything good about Arsenal, and you could argue everything that went wrong for Arsenal defensively. Very, very frail. I can't put him in. I have to put in someone I don't like him. I think I'd like him if he played for Man City, but he's one of those players that I wouldn't like to play against or be a fan against. He's big, he's aggressive, he's loud, he's a bit boisterous, he's a bit annoying. That's just the reality of the situation. It's Dan Burn. How this guy's at left back, I could be playing left wing for Newcastle if he can. He's slow. He's massive. How's he playing at left back? It's testament to Eddie Howe. And that's not me slagging him off, by the way. He's been fantastic at left back. He gets up and down the pitch well. He never looks out of pace. He never looks kind of getting done defensively. He always knows when to drop a yard and kind of leave a winger to have a bit of a run at him. But he never gets done on the shoulder, never gets twisted and turned around. He's been part of one of the best defences in the league this season. And Dan Burn will be playing the Champions League. It's a crazy world that we live in. And Dan Burn absolutely gets in at left back for me, standout. Defensive midfield, we're playing a 4-3-3. Rodri, he's the best defensive midfielder in world football. The way he's guided City with incredible, delicate possession at points. He knows when to keep the ball, keep it ticking. It's a very thin line between being boring, playing it side to side, and knowing when to just have the rhythm of the play in midfield, when to play the ball between the lines, when to keep it flat, play it back to centre backs, play it back to the goalkeeper. He's a built up physical version of Busquets. In my opinion, he's a Premier League version of what Busquets would have needed to have been to play in the Premier League. He's massive. He could be a centre-back one day. He's that big. He is a powerhouse in midfield. I can't speak highly enough of him. What can I say? Rodri at the base of midfield. Alongside him, Kevin De Bruyne. What am I meant to say? 7 goals, 16 assists. He has been a massive factor in Haaland's success this season, contributed towards so many of his goals. Even De Bruyne's build-up play has been absolutely incredible. He's so smart. He knows when to drive the ball into the box, when to slow things down. He's becoming more of a metronome in midfield. There's no question about it. And his performance in the Bernabeu, picking up that big goal. We are talking about a generational midfielder. We're talking about a midfielder that could end up being a treble winner. We talk about Scholes, we talk about Beckham. He's at that level this season if we are to go on and win a Champions League, but already in the Premier League, he's world class, he's one of a kind, and he gets into this 11 all day long. I'm reluctant to put Martin Odegaard in. I think he's a little bit overrated. I think he's given the ball away in big moments in games this season. I can think about a couple of instances at the Etihad where lost possession. Of course, by the way, I've got to shout out the likes of Thomas Partey, Xhaka. That midfield has been electric for Arsenal this season. Casemiro at Man United, McAllister at Brighton. You think of Bruno Guimaraes at Newcastle, Ramsey at Aston Villa. There's a lot of quality midfielders in the league. I have to put in Martin Odegaard. His numbers are right up there at the top of the league. Goals and assists and chances created. And of course, he was part of a side that led the Premier League title race for 247 days. That is no mean feat to then come second. Odegaard is a world-class talent. You know, people comparing him to De Bruyne, it was a grim outlook on the football Twitter world that people could think that. He's, of course, at points had a very, very good purple patch, and he could get to that level. He's still very, very young. I don't think he will personally. I still think there's a few gaps in his game, but for where he is at the moment, Arsenal are lucky to have him. They've done a very smart bit of business getting him out of Real Madrid. I think he'll go on to be a world-class playmaker. He definitely gets into this team of the season, as much as I don't want to admit it. Saka gets in on the right for me. Mohamed Salah's been absolutely electric. I think if Liverpool scrapes top 4, I don't think they will, then absolutely you've got to give him a shout. Someone like Almiron, maybe, someone like Riyad Mahrez gets a shout, maybe on the right of midfield or the right of the front 3. I have to give it to Saka. Off the ball, his work rate is absolutely incredible, how hard he works for that Arsenal side. And then you think about the link-up play. Some of the best moments that Arsenal have had this season have all been through Saka. He's almost a playmaker at points, coming in off that right-hand side, linking things up. And of course, the goals and assists for him this season, so much better. He's been pivotal to everything Arsenal have done of positivity in the last 3 or 4 years, and he's still so young. They have to build around him, they have to protect him, they have to give him a good contract, and they have to make sure that he's interested in, galvanised to go on and actually kick on. He missed that big penalty at West Ham. That does dampen his season, there's no question about it. He could have been a Premier League champion this season. He probably warranted it based on his own personal performances. He gets into my team of the season. I know it's no consolation towards bottling the Premier League title race, but it is what it is. He gets into the Buvey 11. So fantastic. I'll be sending him a medal, no question about it. Saka, he's absolutely fantastic, and he is the future of England on that right hand side. Erling Haaland, so far as I'm recording this video, he's on 36 goals in 34 games. I feel like every week we don't hear about Haaland. He's obviously not scored in a couple now. We kind of forget about the number kind of recedes into the memory. I'm doing a video like this, I think he scored 36 goals in the Premier League, and it's not over yet. He scored more goals than there are games to score in. It's absolutely mental. We've never seen anything like it in the Premier League. Maybe we have with Andy Cole when he was in his prime. Maybe we have with Cristiano Ronaldo when he was kind of already developed. He needed a couple of years. Andy Cole needed a couple of years. Haaland came straight into the Premier League and absolutely smashed it. I've never seen anything like it. If he stays fit, we're looking at Erling Haaland being one of the top 5 strikers to ever play football. Seriously, that's just the reality of the situation. He's an absolute monster. The big thing will be injuries, about maintaining fitness throughout his career. I'd love to know what you think in the comments down below about Haaland, where he goes in terms of his ceiling. We're talking over 50 goals in all competitions. Could he win a Champions League? Even just seeing him with the Premier League medal is absolutely incredible. He's smashed us towards it. Every season that City keep him fit as well. Worrying for the Premier League league. It's a bit like Bayern Munich with Lewandowski. You can just sit on his goals, just rest on his goals and build around him. It's an incredible luxury that City have got, and I'm gassed as a City fan. What can I say? And then on the left, I want to put in Jack Grealish, but I can't do it. I can't have too many City players in there. He's been fantastic. I think his numbers could get better, and that's why I've not put him in. I have to put in Matoma, because actually Matoma makes me enjoy football. Even the assist he got the other day, like the way he bends it around to Evan Ferguson on the outside of his foot, absolutely electric. The way he plays football is smart. The way he's chipping goalkeepers, he plays instinctively. He plays with a smile on his face. He's quite a humble character, and his story coming to Brighton for such a cheap amount of money from a university side, I think it was, he deserves all the credit in the world for what he's built himself up to be. I hope he stays at Brighton. They need to keep a couple. It's all well and good saying about the kind of rotation of letting go of Cucurella, letting go of Ben White, for example. They have to keep Matoma. They have to try and keep McAllister, maybe let Caicedo go one at a time, not two or three. Matoma could play for Chelsea. He's 10 times the player Mudryk is. He could play for Spurs. He could play for Arsenal. He's that good in my opinion. And he absolutely has to get in because he's driven Brighton towards European football. It's mental. Very keen to see what you think in the comments down below. Let me know your team of the season. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I will be covering that FA Cup final that's coming up rapidly. And of course, the Champions League final. It's been a good video. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you soon.